A real woman. I mean,
Yes.
this blue cardigan she's wearing is made by another American designer, Reed Krakoff. And if I'm not mistaken, I believe it is the same blue cardigan that she wore yesterday.
I believe it is.
To the official swearing-in ceremony. I mean, really a nod to American designers, emerging American designers. And when you look at her style, Tim, and her legacy, don't you think it will be that she embraced not established, but emerging talent that really need a boost?
And also American designers. So much of what's been happening in the White House with First Ladies has had to do with Europe. And while that certainly is the American legacy, we come from that, we have certainly come into our own since World War II, and Mrs. Obama is here nurturing and supporting and cultivating less-known designers, some of them not even that so young, but less known, and she is championing everything that's American about American design.
I mean,
fabulous thing.
You look at what happened to Jason Wu 4 years ago.
Know.
It put him on the map. It gave him worldwide fame. He has exploded as a result of that. We, of course, will be watching the inaugural gown choice for tonight, right, with bated breath. All right, Anderson, back to you.
Alina, how long has Tom Brown actually been designing clothes for women? Because I always know him as a menswear designer. You
know, it's interesting that you should point that out, Anderson. He started his label officially in 2003 with his first ready-to-wear collection. There you see him. He really popularized the notion of the shrunken suit for men. You know, if you see men wearing those cropped pants and those tight-fitting suits, that's because of Tom Brown. He created that look. He has officially done women's wear for quite some time, more officially in the past couple of years. But something he told me today when I asked him, will this help your business? What do you think it will do in terms of affecting your business? He laughed and he said, it certainly won't hurt. And then he added, you know, what he hopes will happen as a result of this moment, being part of such an important moment in history, is that people will take a look at his women's wear with a different eye. And I believe that people in America and around the world now will. They will. And they certainly will know the name Tom Brown. Anderson?
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. And, of course, a lot of eyes will be watching Michelle Obama tonight to see what she's going to be wearing to do the two inaugural balls that they will be going to. Also coming up, of course, the parade, which not only are President Obama and Mrs. Obama going to be in the parade, there's representatives from all the 50 states. It's going to be a lot of fun. Of course, we're going to broadcast all that to you. It's become tradition almost now that the president gets out of the beast, the very armored vehicle at a certain point and walks the parade route. We saw that 4 years ago on this day. Hopefully we'll see that again today. All of that we'll be bringing to you shortly. But now our exclusive interview with Vice President Joe Biden. Our Gloria Borger sat down with him the other day, and he talked about his relationship with President Obama and how it's evolved.
If there's an odd couple of American politics, it's President Obama and Joe Biden.
What made it work is that if you go back to the days when we were actually competing for the nomination, all those debates we had, the only two people who didn't disagree on any subject were Barack Obama and Joe Biden. So when we got into this deal, we didn't have what other administrations have had, where the vice president and the president have a different take on the major issues of the day. We're totally simpatico. And what developed, and it made it easier, was it went from working with each other to a friendship. I mean, we actually real trust built.
We know, though, that you have disagreed with the president over policy, and you know how to read him pretty well. So how can you tell when you've done something that he doesn't like or that makes him angry?
Oh, that's easy. That's easy. We made a deal early on. When either one of us are dissatisfied, we just flat tell the other person. And so one lunch once a week, you know, that's when we talk. And when he's not liked something I've done, he just flat tells me.
She says, Joe, you shouldn't have done that?
No, he says, Joe, look, I don't agree with the way you did that. You know, why did you do A, B, C, or D? Or he will say, or I will say, hey, look, man, I don't like the way this is going. This is what we, you know. So there's complete openness. But, you know, we haven't disagreed on, we sometimes disagreed on tactic as to how to proceed to try to get what he wanted done, which I've agreed with. But we've never disagreed on policy. Frankly,
but there was a problem with timing when the vice president got ahead of the boss in this exchange about same-sex marriage on Meet the Press.
Men marrying men, women marrying women, and heterosexual men and women married all are entitled to the same exact rights, all the civil rights, all the civil liberties.
That caused heartburn in the West Wing.
Even the so-called discussion about, my saying I was comfortable with gay and lesbians and relationships. I knew his position. That was.
But you got out in front of him on it, and that can be a problem.
But I can tell you how I responded. I walked into the office and he got up, smiled, gave me a big hug, and he said, "I tell you what, man, it's one of the things I like about you. You say what's on your mind."
You said it caused a little apoplexy around here.
It did, but not with him. Not with him.
Lately, Biden's become the White House closer, cutting the deal on the fiscal cliff and trying to get one on guns. Are you the only one who can cut deals with Republicans now?
No. Look, first of all, the only reason I'd be able to close any deal is because everybody knows I speak for the president. I have his complete support for what I'm saying because I know what he wants, number one. Number two, I think the reason why we make a good team, Tip O'Neill used to say, and you'll recall, politics is local, and you've heard me say, I seldom disagree with Tip O'Neill, God rest his soul, but all politics is personal. It's all personal, and it's based on trust. And I have spent a lot of time in this town, and I've had personal relationships with people I strongly disagree, but there's trust. And so I'm a logical person to, as they say, you guys say, close the deal. But it's the president, it's not me. It's the president.
But it's no secret that you and the president are very different people. You're hot, he's cool. You're a natural backslapper. He's been accused of being more insular. Does the marriage work because he married his opposite?
Well, look, I think what you hope, and he used this phrase one time, that we kind of make up for whatever weaknesses the other guy has. And I've got a hell of a lot more weaknesses than he does. The one place that I just have had a lot of experience with a lot of the people we deal with. And, everybody talks about, well, it's backslapping, it's old, it's not, it's trust. It's simple trust. Find a single person, and you know this town, but who will look you in the eye and say, I don't trust Joe Biden. It's just that I've been around longer, and they know me, but they also know I speak for him, and he will keep whatever commitment I make on his behalf.
Interesting. Gloria Borger joins us now. Was there anything that surprised you about the vice presidency?
What surprised me was that he was trying to be so circumspect because he knew this was going to run on Inauguration Day. And so he was being pretty careful. In the next piece that we're going to run later in the day, I asked him about running for the presidency, and he sort of wouldn't give that one away either. But
they are very different men.
They're completely, they're completely different. They complete each other. Joe Biden loves to do the things that President Obama hates to do. You put Joe Biden in a room in the Capitol with 5 Republicans and 5 Democrats for 3 hours, and he's having fun. He loves it because he's been in Washington for 40 years. That's what he's done his entire life. I hesitate to say this, but I think if you did that to the president, he wouldn't be having as much fun. No.
This may be President Obama's last inauguration, certainly, but what about Vice President Biden? Gloria Borger asked him if he's considering a run for the top job that might pit him against Hillary Clinton. We'll have that a little bit later, and we'll go to the parade route where people are already lining up to see the president, all the floats and the bands, all of that is ahead. Stay tuned. A lot to look forward to.
Made the decision, evidently, just 3 weeks before the inauguration that he would walk after his inauguration back to the White House. And it really was an extraordinary moment. There was a feeling with Carter that he was being a people's president as opposed to the imperial guard that had surrounded Nixon. And so he's walking. Amy is running around next to him. There's a sense of exuberance and a sense that something special is happening. In a certain sense, it was the most important event of the inaugural. It was a great moment. It was very smart dramatically for him to do that.
Nearly 16 million people visit Washington, D.C. every year. Some come to witness, some to be heard. We come to make an impact, to learn from leaders, and to lead others. To create and create change. We are the George Washington University. We come to make history.
I'm a conservative investor.
I invest in what I know.
I turned 65 last week. I'm getting married, planning a life.
There are risks, sure, but there's no reward without it.
I want to be prepared for the long haul. I see a world bursting with opportunities. India, China, Brazil.
iShares.
Small caps.
Large caps.
iShares.
Industrials. Low cost.
Every dollar counts.
iShares.
Income.
Dividends.
Bonds.
I like bonds.
iShares. Commodities. Diversification.
Choices.
My own ideas.
iShares. I want to use the same stuff the big guys use.
iShares.
9 out of 10 large professional investors choose iShares for their ETFs. Introducing the iShares Core. ETFs for the heart of your portfolio. Tax efficient and low-cost building blocks to help you keep more of what you earn. Call your advisor. Visit iShares.com.
iShares.
Yeah, iShares.
iShares by BlackRock. Call 1-800-iShares for a prospectus, which includes investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses. Read and consider it carefully before investing.
Let's go. Honey, what are you doing? We gotta go?
It's dressed like a President Day. I'm supposed to be Martin Van Buren.
Who?
Martin Van Buren.
Google. Martin Van Buren.
With malice toward none, with charity for all, with firmness in the right, as God gives us to see the right, let us strive on to finish the work we are in, to do all which may achieve and cherish a just and a lasting peace among ourselves and with all nations.
Lincoln, rated PG-13.
I've discovered gold. New Rock Retinol Correction Max. The power of Rock Retinol is intensified with a serum. It's proven to be 4 times better at smoothing lines and deep wrinkles than professional treatments. Rock Max from maximum results.
What do you see when you look at America? Don't you want to know what's going on inside? I do. That's why I'm going in.
Morgan Spurlock, Inside Man, coming in April, only on CNN.
And welcome back to our continuing coverage of the presidential inauguration. While President Obama and the Vice President and their families are eating lunch inside the Capitol, most folks are heading over to the parade grounds. Let's check in with our Aaron Burnett, who's standing around over at Freedom Plaza. Aaron, how are the crowds where you are?
All right, well, look, people have been gathering, as we've been telling you, you have to walk a few blocks after you get in the security perimeter to actually get where we are. There's lines, I don't know, some of about 80, 100 people in line, but everybody was in very good mood everywhere that we were. And right now there's buses you may have seen going behind me. They're going up to the main viewing area where the president will be. They're playing some music here to get everyone all ready to go, and obviously we're just waiting for that. I'm here with Brianna Keeler, and we've been talking a lot about who's in this parade, and there are some really interesting stories, but I know you've been reporting a lot on the First Family and what their lives are like, and this is a very personal parade for them, right?
It really is, and specifically going through some of the participants, you can even look and see how the causes that are so near and dear to the First Lady's heart, that they are very much represented here. Military spouses will play a role in this parade. Veterans will play a role. She has championed a cause called Joining Forces, where she works with military families, where she works to sort of provide, I guess, a highlight for companies that are providing jobs for veterans coming home. And also I noticed that there will be participation by kids from Ballou High School, which is a high school here in Washington, D.C. in the Anacostia neighborhood. This is a high school that she has visited, trying to reach out to at-risk kids. Mentoring is also a very key part of her causes. And so it just is sort of represented. But I think a lot of the people here are wondering, will they get to see the First Lady and the President in person? Will they be getting out, perhaps, where they can catch a glimpse of it?
Right, and last time, of course, to our viewers, they did get out right around here. They got out 2 times times during the parade, 6 or 8 minutes each, and walked a little bit. You know, Jimmy Carter actually had walked the entire